Welcome back, everyone, to the Humor Career Insights podcast, your guide to navigating career success in a world that's changing faster than ever. I'm your host, Vache Shibafa, certified professional career coach and founder of Humor. Whether you're just starting out, climbing the ladder, or pivoting after years in the workforce, this podcast is here to equip you with the insights and strategies you need to thrive. This season, we're tackling a topic that's on everyone's mind, the future of work. How to stay relevant and thrive. From the rise of AI and automation to the shifting demands of leadership and the skills that will set you apart, we're diving deep into what it takes to not just survive, but to thrive. To help us unpack this, I'll be joined by some incredible guests, industry experts, thought leaders, and professionals who are shaping the future of work. Together, we'll explore practical strategies, emerging trends, and actionable advice to help you stay ahead of the curve. So, whether you're looking to future-proof your career, embrace new opportunities, or simply stay inspired, this season is for you. Let's get ready to thrive in the future of work. Don't forget to rate and follow. Let's embark on this journey together. Today, we have a very special episode lined up for you. In our previous series and episodes, we've covered a wide range of topics. Be sure to listen to them on Apple or wherever you listen to your podcast. Today's episode is particularly special as we are diving into a fascinating topic, AI and its implications for the future of work. Joining me are two distinguished experts with opposing views. First, we have Professor Zuri Farai Mensa, a leading AI researcher and advocate for AI-driven development in Africa. And second, we have Dr. Kwame Omari Mojo, an economist and ethicist who's more skeptical about AI's impact. So, without further ado, let's welcome our guests. Welcome, Professor Zuri Farai Mensa, and welcome, Dr. Kwame Omari Mojo. Thank you for joining us today. Let's begin with brief introductions. Professor Mensa, could you tell us a bit about yourself, your credentials, and your passions?
Well, thank you for having me, Batshi. My name is Professor Zuri Farai Mensa, and I'm an AI researcher and educator based at the University of Cape Town in South Africa. I hold a PhD in artificial intelligence and have, in fact, spent over 15 years working on how AI can be harnessed to address Africa's unique challenges, from healthcare and agriculture to, education and infrastructure. Now, my passion lies in using technology to empower communities and drive sustainable development. I believe AI is not just a tool for the future, it's in fact a bridge to a brighter, more inclusive Africa. Whether it's helping farmers predict weather patterns or enabling access to quality healthcare in remote areas, I'm deeply committed to ensuring that AI benefits everyone, not just a select few. It's an exciting time for our continent, and I'm thrilled to be part of this journey.
Thank you, Professor Mensa. Dr. Mojo, could you introduce yourself as well?
Thank you, Batche, for the introduction. My name is Dr. Kwame Omari Mojo, and I'm an economist and ethicist based in Nairobi, Kenya. I hold a PhD in development economics and, have spent much of my career researching the social and economic impacts of technology, particularly in sub-Saharan Africa. Currently, I'm a senior researcher at the African Institute for Policy Studies, where I focus on the ethical implications of emerging technologies like AI. My passion lies in ensuring that technological advancements benefit all members of society, not just the, privileged few. I am deeply concerned about the potential for AI to exacerbate inequality, displace workers, and reinforce existing biases. While I recognize the potential of AI, I believe we must approach it with caution, ensuring that it serves the needs of our people and, respects our cultural values. It's not just about innovation, it's about justice and equity.
Thank you, Dr. Kwame. Now that the formality is out of the way, let's dive into the fascinating world of AI. Professor Mensa, can you explain why you believe AI will create more opportunities than challenges for Africa's workforce?
Absolutely. AI has the potential to transform Africa's workforce in ways we've never seen before. For example, AI-powered tools can help farmers optimize crop yields, predict weather patterns, and reduce waste. In healthcare, AI can enable remote diagnostics and bring quality care to underserved areas. But it's not just about solving existing problems. AI can create entirely new industries and job opportunities. Think about roles in AI development, data analysis, and human AI collaboration. These are fields that didn't exist a decade ago, and they're growing rapidly. The key is to invest in education and reskilling programs to prepare our workforce for these new opportunities. AI isn't just a challenge, it's an opportunity to leapfrog traditional development pathways and build a more prosperous Africa.
Dr. Moyo, what's your response to that? Do you think AI could also pose risks for Africa's workforce?
I appreciate Professor Mensa's optimism, but we can't ignore the risks. AI could, automate jobs in sectors like agriculture, manufacturing, and even services, leaving millions of workers unemployed. And let's not forget the ethical concerns. AI systems trained on foreign data may, not understand our local contexts, leading to biased or harmful outcomes. For example, if AI-driven farming tools are designed without considering the needs of smallholder farmers, they could end up benefiting large agribusinesses at the expense of, local communities. We need to approach AI with caution, ensuring that it's developed and deployed in ways that prioritize the well-being of our people. Without proper safeguards, AI could, deepen the divides in our societies and leave millions behind.
Professor Mensa, how do you respond to concerns about job placement due to AI?
Job displacement is a valid concern, but it's not unique to AI. You see, every major technological shift from the Industrial Revolution to, the internet has disrupted traditional jobs while in fact creating new ones. The key is to focus on reskilling and education. For example, in Rwanda, AI-powered platforms are, being used to train workers in digital skills, preparing them for jobs in the tech sector. Similarly, in South Africa, AI is being used to create personalized learning programs that help students adapt to the, changing job market. By investing in our people, we can, in fact, turn the challenge of job displacement into an opportunity for growth and innovation.
Interesting. Dr. Moyo, do you think reskilling programs are enough to address the risks of job placement?
Great question. Reskilling is important, but it's not a silver bullet. Many workers in Africa are in informal or low-skilled jobs, and they may not have access to the resources needed to participate in reskilling programs. Moreover, the pace of AI adoption is so rapid that it's difficult for education systems to keep up. We also need to consider the broader economic and social impacts of job displacement. For example, if AI automates jobs in the agricultural sector, what happens to the millions of smallholder farmers who rely on those jobs for their livelihoods? We need comprehensive policies that address not just reskilling, but also social safety nets, equitable access to technology, and ethical AI development.
Yeah, I get that. Let's talk about the global context. With the changes to USAID funding, there's a lot of uncertainty about how development projects, including those involving AI, will be funded. Professor Mensa, how do you think this uncertainty will impact AI-driven development in Africa?
This one is a bit controversial, but this is a critical issue. While the uncertainty is concerning, it also presents an opportunity for Africa to take ownership of its AI-driven development. We can't, rely solely on external funding. We need to build local capacity and invest in homegrown solutions. For example, African governments and private sector players can collaborate to fund, AI initiatives that address local challenges. We're already seeing this happen in countries like Kenya and Nigeria, where tech hubs and innovation centers are driving AI development. By focusing on local solutions, we can reduce our dependence on external funding and create sustainable long-term growth.
Thank you, Professor Mensa. Now, Dr. Moyo, what's your take on this? Do you think Africa can overcome the uncertainty caused by changes in this funding situation?
Well, the uncertainty is deeply troubling, especially for projects that rely on international funding. However, it's also a wake-up call for Africa to rethink its approach to development. We need to prioritize self-reliance and regional collaboration. For example, the African Union's Agenda 2063 emphasizes the importance of science, technology, and innovation in driving development. By pooling resources and expertise, African countries can fund and implement AI projects that align with our priorities and values. But we must also ensure that these projects are inclusive and equitable, so that no one is left behind.
Okay, yes. But let's get more specific. Which jobs in Africa do you think are most at risk from AI? And which do you think will become more valuable? Professor Mensa, let's start with you.
Jobs that involve repetitive manual tasks are, most at risk at, for example, roles in manufacturing, data entry, and even some aspects of agriculture. However, jobs that, require creativity, critical thinking, and human interaction will become more valuable. Think about roles in AI development, healthcare, education, and creative industries. For instance, AI can't replace the empathy and cultural understanding needed in healthcare or teaching. Instead, it can augment these roles, making them more efficient and impactful. The key is to focus on developing skills that complement AI rather than competing with it.
Yes, I get the repetitive manual tasks. Those are definitely at risk. But Dr. Moyo, what's your perspective on this?
Totally agree that repetitive jobs are at risk. But I'd also add that even some white-collar jobs, like translation and basic data analysis, are vulnerable. The real challenge is that many of these jobs are currently held by people who may not have the resources to reskill quickly. On the flip side, jobs in AI ethics, policy making, and community engagement will become more valuable. These roles require a deep understanding of both technology and human values, and they will be critical in ensuring that AI is developed and deployed responsibly.
Speaking of translation, what advice do you have for a career humanitarian? Let's say a translator, been translating for the last decade, and now their job has been taken over by an AI tool. Who shall we start with this time? Professor Mensa, let's start with you.
This is not an easy one, but first I'd say don't panic. While AI can handle basic translation tasks, I will say this, it still struggles with nuanced cultural context and complex language structures. This means there's still a need for human translators, especially in specialized fields like legal, medical, or literary translation. My advice would be to upskill, learn how to work alongside AI tools to enhance your productivity and accuracy. For example, you could specialize in post-editing machine translation or move into roles that require cultural consulting and localization. The key is to adapt and find ways to add value that AI can't replicate.
Don't panic. I've heard that many a time. Dr. Moyo, what's your advice?
I'd definitely echo Professor Mensa's point about upskilling, but I'd also want to emphasize the importance of advocacy. If your job has been displaced by AI, it's really crucial to speak up and demand fair treatment. This could include things like access to reskilling programs, financial support during the transition, or even policies that protect workers from abrupt job losses. And another thing to consider is branching into related fields where human skills are still essential, like community outreach, education, or advocacy. The goal, I think, is to find a role where your unique skills and experience can still make a real difference.
I like that, Dr. Moyo. Finding a role where your unique skills and experience can still make a difference. You have unique skills. So I quite like that. Let's move on to the next topic. So, in fact, let's stay with humanitarian workers for a little bit. Many humanitarian workers are facing kind of a double whammy: the fear of being laid off due to funding constraints and the fear of being made redundant due to AI. How could you allay those fears, Dr. Moyo?
It's a difficult situation, no doubt about that, but there are steps we can take. First, we need to advocate for policies that, protect workers during times of transition. This could include things like unemployment benefits, reskilling programs, and mental health support. Second, we need to ensure that AI is implemented in ways that complement human workers rather than, replacing them. For example, AI can handle data analysis and administrative tasks, freeing up humanitarian workers to focus on the human aspects of their work, like building relationships, providing emotional support, and making ethical decisions.
It really is a difficult situation. AI, job loss, funding, it is a difficult situation. What's your take, Professor Mensa?
I totally agree with Dr. Moyo that we need to focus on complementarity. AI can't replace the empathy, creativity, and cultural understanding that humanitarian workers bring to their roles. Instead, it can help them work more efficiently and effectively. For example, AI can analyze data to identify areas of need, but it's up to humanitarian workers to design and implement solutions. By embracing AI as a tool rather than a threat, we can create a future where technology and humanity work hand in hand.
Okay, let's talk about something that's a little bit close to my heart. What role do you see for career coaches in helping manage the uncertainty brought by AI and funding changes? Let's start with Professor Mensa.
I'm really glad you asked me that question. Career coaches will play a critical role in helping workers navigate this uncertain landscape. They can provide guidance on upskilling, career transitions, and even mental health support. For example, a career coach could help a displaced worker identify transferable skills and explore new career paths. They could also provide emotional support and help workers build resilience in the face of change. In a world where the only constant is change, career coaches will be invaluable.
Thank you. Dr. Moyo, what's your perspective?
I completely agree. Career coaches can, help workers see the bigger picture and identify opportunities they might not have considered. They can also advocate for systemic changes like better access to education and training programs. Ultimately, career coaches are not just guides, they're, allies in the fight for a fair and equitable future. And by working together, we can ensure that no one is left behind in the age of AI.
Yes, indeed. Career coaches like myself are allies in the fight for a fair and equitable future. Okay, finally, let's tackle a controversial topic. Universal Basic Income, or UBI. Some argue that UBI is a necessary safety net for workers displaced by AI, while others say it's unsustainable and discourages work. What do you think, Professor Mensa? Do you think UBI is a good solution for Africa?
I believe UBI is a bold and necessary idea, especially in the context of AI-driven job displacement. In Africa, where many workers are in informal or low-skilled jobs, UBI could provide a crucial safety net during the transition to an AI-driven economy. Let me be clear, UBI isn't about discouraging work, far from it. It's about giving people the freedom to pursue education, entrepreneurship, or creative endeavors without the constant fear of poverty. For example, in pilot programs like the one in Kenya run by Give Directly, UBI has been shown to improve well-being and stimulate local economies. It's not a silver bullet, but it's a step toward a more equitable future.
Yeah, it's not a silver bullet for sure, but Dr. Moyo, what's your take on UBI?
This is a bit of a hot potato, but I strongly disagree. UBI is, a well-intentioned idea, but it's not a practical solution for Africa. Our economies are already strained, and implementing UBI would require massive financial resources that we, simply don't have. Moreover, UBI could create a culture of dependency, discouraging people from seeking work or contributing to society. Instead of, handing out cash, we should focus on creating jobs, improving education, and building infrastructure. These are sustainable solutions that empower people to lift themselves out of poverty rather than relying on handouts.
We definitely do need sustainable solutions that empower people to lift themselves out of poverty. Yeah, sometimes when you talk about UBI, it sounds like you're relying on handouts. Thank you, Professor Mensa and Dr. Moyo, for your insightful perspectives. It's clear that AI's impact on the future of work is a complex issue with no easy answers. Do you have any last words for our listeners?
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure being here today. I've really, enjoyed our conversation. Thank you so much, Batshi, for having me on your brilliant platform. And I hope the insights we shared inspire and spark some new ideas for your listeners. And of course, thanks must also go to my dear friend, Dr. Moyo, for his, eloquence and intelligence. Truly a joy to share this space with him. Thanks again. And until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and stay curious.
My sincere gratitude for having me on your amazing podcast, Batshi. It has been a wonderful experience, and I look forward to being invited again in the near future.
Thank you for coming to help me try and wade through the different complexities. Listeners, what do you think? Let us know your thoughts. And don't forget to follow, rate, and share. I have a last comment. So, listeners, I am personally amazed at what AI is capable of. Now, in case you haven't realized up to this point, my two guests today, Professor Mensa and Dr. Moyo, are not real people. Yes, you heard me right. They are personas that have been created by AI. So let me give you a bit of context. As I was preparing for this season, I was searching for AI experts, future of work experts, thought leaders whom I could interview and get different views about where we are looking into this future of work. And I couldn't seem to find any. And my husband, being the tech expert in our household, said to me, "Why don't you create personas?" Well, being the technophobe that I am, I was a bit wary, but I went along. And the result was today's interview. I am blown away. I don't know what you think, but listeners, this is the future of work. And I've realized that if I don't upskill and use these new innovations and adapt, I will be made redundant. I'm really, really interested in your thoughts. But right now, I'd like to welcome you to Season 3. In future episodes, we'll be speaking to real guests about different aspects of the future of work. What are the emerging trends and what can you and I do to stay relevant and thrive? Until next time, stay inspired.